most of the items at Nailu gift shop are made by black craft makers and artists. They say they had one of their best ever summers of business during last year's Black Lives Matter protests. It proved crucial to helping the company ride out the pandemic. But as time went on, that initial enthusiasm began to wear off.
This past Christmas was like the biggest Christmas in terms of sales we've ever had. So that was, a pretty amazing thing. But then January, like retail, it goes off the cliff. But it really went off the cliff this time. I think people they kind of retreated a little bit.
And there are other signs that the boost from the Black Lives Matter movement is waning. After protesters took to the streets across the country following the murder of George Floyd last May, US companies pledged $50 billion towards racial equality. A year later, a study has shown just $250 million has been spent or committed to specific initiatives. Some economists say the key to long-term change is encouraging more black consumers to use their spending power to support businesses within their community.
Our Asian American friends keep the dollar in their community for 28 days before it goes outside. The money stays in Asian-owned banks, Asian retailers, and goes to Asian professionals. The Black community, and this has not changed since George Floyd, keeps their dollar for 6 hours. The money is not going to Black professionals and contractors.
The owners of Nailu say that's just what they're trying to do.
To be quite frank, I've dropped vendors that have not been the makers of color to make more room for makers of color, because I feel like that there's never been a level playing field in terms of a marketplace.
And the owner of this flower shop in Brooklyn says that while the financial boost from the civil rights protests hasn't been sustained, public awareness has.
Now it's on people's minds and their radars. Like, oh, let me support this business because of this. And maybe they might even do it better too, Like, I'm so glad I found this because you guys are better than where I was going before. So I think it's going to be a continuing thing.
President Joe Biden has promised minority-owned businesses won't be left alone, pledging specific help for them in his infrastructure plan. And that could be crucial for their economic recovery, with one study showing black-owned businesses have reported 50% decrease in revenue during the pandemic, 13% more than white business owners. Sarah Walton, CGTN, New York.